Today's show is sponsored by Money Mark's Picks. Mark has bet over $500,000 of his own money in sports, and now he's bringing years of betting expertise to you. Guys, Money Mark's Picks are an exclusive community for people who want to take their sports picks to the next level. You will receive daily, value-based sports picks with units across a wide variety of sports. With a members-only chat and Discord, you'll connect with an elite group of like-minded bettors and sports fans. You'll also have direct access to ask Mark any questions you have personally for $50 a month. Money Mark's Picks is guaranteeing one-on-one support and an opportunity to shift your sports betting luck. Mark's experience betting and his deep knowledge of the UFC and combat sports is going to maximize your winnings. Click on the link below and subscribe today. What's the harder fight for Adesanya, Du Plessis or Chimaev? I'm moving Paulo Costa out. I know we've got a three-way there. I'm moving Paulo out because of parity reasons. Adesanya has made it clear. See, it's so important. You want to know who's going to be next after Sean Strickland? Should Adesanya win? You want to know who's going to be next? You can play that game and you can look at the boards and you can argue and you can talk about styles and interviews and rankings. You can do all of those things that you want. The only thing that you have to know is who does Adesanya want next? That's what your answer is. So, what do you know about Adesanya? If we're profilers and we're attempting to make a guess based on history, we do know that he always goes for the hardest fight. And that's something that most guys say, but they don't do, nor should they. Every champion's job is the same, to get the biggest fight for the most money with the easiest opponent. It's just not something he does. So is the fact that he is pissed off at Du Plessis, is the fact that he really has next to no heat with Chimaev. Now, that can change in the drop of a dime, but that's where we sit right now. Is that anger and that personal frustration that he had for Du Plessis a stronger motivator within the mind of Adesanya than that of competition? And if it's not, then who is the harder competition, Chimaev or Du Plessis? And don't think you can answer that question so fast. Chimaev, and he's never lost. Du Plessis just beat the hardest guy. The hardest guy and the clearest number one contender. Right? And I got to remove Colby Covington. Colby was, but he got the fight with Leon. I'm taking him off the board. The clearest number one contender is Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker could never be champion again. He will be in the Hall of Fame. Robert Whittaker is as good at fighting as I've ever seen somebody be at fighting. Truly. And he was that night, too. By the way, he didn't have an off night. Robert Whittaker looked good that night. He fought really well that night. Du Plessis showed us how good that he is. I mean, I'm just bringing to you, like, it's not a simple question to say who's better between Du Plessis and Chimaev. But I do believe that Adesanya will make up within his mind who's more difficult, and I believe that that's the person he'll go after. As wild as that sounds, as anti-helpful to your own career as that could be, that's how he works, man. There's a fine line in genius and insanity. Adesanya is a perfect example of that. So what happens if Adesanya's evil side gets the better of him? And his evil side knows that the most damaging thing that he could do to Du Plessis is not fight Du Plessis. Now, that wouldn't be very in line, historically speaking, with the way Izzy operates. But we would understand it. We would understand if just out of a power position, he made him sit in the corner. Now, if he makes him sit in the corner, and if that's the decision that he comes to, and see, you got to look at a calendar. The calendar will greatly help you to form whatever guess you're going to make. But I believe he's up, it's like September 20th, September 21st, September 9th, somewhere right in there, with Du Plessis. And October, I believe it's the 22nd, is when Chimaev is up with Paulo Costa. But Chimaev and Paulo Costa have such bad blood. I mean, they have such heat that is so real that I imagine they're going to spend their market and their media time on each other, as opposed to pulling out, hedging your bet, starting to look ahead and starting to throw it at Izzy. But that's very relevant, because if they don't start throwing smoke Izzy's way, he's not going to pay any attention to him. He doesn't care what you rank or who you've knocked out. He doesn't care about any of those things, at least not as much as he cares about solving a personal feud. So what does Du Plessis do between now and then? Does he continue to poke the bear? To make sure when the bear is angry, the bear responds to him and only him? Or does he also know that once upon a time, he had the power of the pen in his favor that wrote his name into the script, and it has not done that, and now everything he's banking on solely comes down to the call out by the bear at a very specific moment, and he'd like to be on the good side of the bear, right? I mean, it gets a little bit complicated. It really does get a little bit complicated. And the only reason I move Apollo out is Israel Adesanya has told us before that he would like new opponents. He was even on this Australia card. He was going to recognize the winner of Whitaker versus Du Plessis, but he really didn't want it. Whitaker wasn't his first choice. And he's let that be known. And who could really blame him, right? To go out and do something and be asked to do it again and be asked to do it again. What would it be in the Whitaker? Would that be the third match or the fourth? It'd be number 3. So it's a really hard guess. When you want to know who the number 1 contender is, when you want to know who's next after Sean Strickland, it's not a matter of resumes. It's not a matter of horse trading in the back. It's not a matter of politics or games. It's a matter of, what's Izzy thinking? Adesanya has never finished a match and let it fade to black and roll the credits where we all go home without letting us know what he's going to do next. He's going to let us know if he beats Sean Strickland, if he has the interview. He's going to let us know what he's going to do next. And I know Du Plessis is on the table, and I'm the one that keeps saying Chimaev. Nobody else has. I'm just inserting Chimaev. Once upon a time, it was said by Dana that if Chimaev goes to middle, makes a commitment though. I am a middleweight, meaning I'm no 170's out. I'm not, this is my division. That he would just need a match. He would just need a win to be able to fight for a championship. But that wasn't a promise. That was Dana getting asked a question. He spent a few seconds answering it. Then it's open to Chael's interpretation, not to mention it was 2 or 3 months ago. So now you've got Chael's memory. Like this wasn't locked in hard and fast. But I remember and I recall it. That was my interpretation. So I think that we are down to Chimaev and Du Plessis. And I'm not sure what's going to prevail. Record, recent memory, what have you done for me today? Or flat out spite. Both are very powerful motivators.